Hi everybody, welcome to Live Blogger. I have combined all the videos in our image gallery series into this single long video so that it will be easy for you to follow along. And in this video we are basically designing this image gallery from scratch using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. And in the end I'll show you how to add this to your Blogger website as well. So let's get started. So first of all, let me show you how it looks. So this is the image gallery, and here we can see there are 6 images right here. And if I click on any of these images, we can see that the image is being displayed over here in this lightbox. And here we have this title displayed over here for the image. And here we also have the next and the previous button. So if I click on the next button, we are taken to the next image. And if I click on the previous button, we are taken to the previous image. And we also have these buttons over here. So this button is for closing the lightbox. And we also have a button to download the image. So if I want to download this image, I'll just click on this download button right here. And we can see that the image is being downloaded. And if I click on this image, we can see that the image has been downloaded to our system. And if I want to download another image, I'll just go to that image over here. And for example, if I want to download this image, I'll just click on download over here. And if I open this, we can see that the image has been downloaded. So this is how our image gallery is gonna look. It is also responsive, so if I decrease the width of the screen, here we can see we have 2 images in a row, and if I decrease the screen even more, we have 1 image in a row. So this is totally responsive. So let's get started. Alright, so I have opened up this folder called the image gallery inside this code editor VS Code. So here I also have a folder called images, and in that we have all these images which we are going to use in our image gallery. So let's start by creating an index.html file. So let's click on new file, and let's create a file called index.html, and we'll create one more file for the CSS. So I'll just name it style.css, and we also need one more file for the JavaScript. So let's name it main.js. Alright, so let's start with the index.html file. Now in VS Code you have the shortcut where you can just press exclamation and press tab, and you will have this basic HTML5 code. And let's also link our CSS file over here. So I'll just type link and press tab, and in the href I'll just type style.css. And we'll also link our JavaScript file over here. So I'll just type script:/src and tab, and here I'll just type main.js. Alright, first of all let's create an h2, and we'll just type image gallery over here. Alright, now let's open this design in our browser. So I have this extension called live server in VS Code. So you can just search for live server over here and just install it. And after that you can just right click over here in the HTML and click on open with live server. And here we can see that our heading is being displayed over here. So let's start by creating a container division to hold everything. So let's create a division with the class of image gallery container. And in this we'll have a division with the class of images, and in that we will have several images. So let's create a division with the class of image, and in that we will have the img tag. So let's type img, and I'll just type images slash, and here we can see these images right here. So it is inside this folder images. So let's select the first image, and then we also need to have a title. So let's create a division with the class of title, and I'll just type surfing the web. So this is the title for the first image. So let's go back to our design, and here we can see we have this first image, and we also have the title over here. Now in the same way let's create all the other images. So we have 6 images in total. So let's copy this, and let's paste it 5 more times. And let's change the source of all these images. So this is image number 2, and this is image number 3, and then we have image number 4. And then we have image number 5, and then lastly we have image number 6. So here we can see all the images are being displayed over here. Now I'll just quickly change all these titles over here. Right, I have changed the titles of all the images. Now let's start with the lightbox. So the lightbox is the viewer that displays the image in a larger size. So here outside this images division right here, let's create a division with the class of lightbox. And in this we'll create a division with the class of image, and in that we'll have an img tag, and for the source we'll just have images1.jpg for now. just for testing. Later we will add different images based on which image you click using JavaScript. But for now, let's just add the first image for testing. And we also need to have a title. So let's create a division with a class of title. And here we will just type testing. So if you scroll down, here you can see this is the lightbox, and here we have testing displayed over here. Now let's create the previous and the next buttons. So let's create a division with the class of previous button. And here we need to add the icon of the previous button. And for that we will use Font Awesome. So just search for Font Awesome 5 CDN and you will find this link of cdnjs.com. So let's go to the website and let's copy this all.min.css from here. So let's click on copy link tag and I'll just paste it over here in the head section. Alright, now let's add the icons. So here I'm in the official website of fontawesome.com and let's search for the icon that we need. So let's type previous. And here we can see all these icons. So we'll be using this icon called chevron left. So let's click on the icon and let's copy this code and let's go back to our HTML, and here in the previous button we'll just paste the code. And if you go back to our website, here we can see we have the previous button. Now in the same way, let's create a division for the next button. So I'll just copy this and paste it down here, and I'll just name it next button. And here instead of chevron left, I'll just type chevron right. And we can see both the icons are being displayed over here. Right now let's add the download and the close buttons. So let's go outside this image division. And here we'll create a division with the class of options. And in that we'll have an anchor tag. And for now we'll just type hash over here. And in the anchor tag we will have an icon. So let's copy this code from here. And let's paste it over here, and here we'll just type FA download. So this is the download icon. So here we can see the download icon. And let's also create one more division with a class of close button. And here we'll just paste the code, and here we'll just type FA times. And here we can see the close button. So all the elements in our website are ready. Now let's start styling this page. So let's go to our style.css file, and first of all let's style the h2. So we'll just set a font family of Roboto and sans serif, and we'll text align it to the center, and we'll also set a font size of 40 pixels. Right now let's start with the image gallery container. So let's type image gallery container, and we'll set the font family of the image gallery to Roboto as well. Right now in the image gallery container we have a division with the class of images. So let's target that, image gallery container images, and we'll set the max width to 800 pixels, and we'll set the display to grid. So let's type display grid, and we also need to set the width of the img tag. So let's type image gallery container images img, and let's set the width to 100%. And also the height to 100%, and we'll set the object fit to cover so that the image is not stretched. Now here in this images division we have already set the display to grid. Now we have to specify how many elements should be in a single row. So let's type grid template columns, and here if I type 1fr 1fr, we can see that there are 2 elements in a row, and if I add one more 1fr over here, we will have 3 elements in a row. Now for example, if I add 1fr and 100 pixels, here we can see we have 100 pixels of image over here, and the rest of the image is taken by the first image, which is 1fr. So the 1fr will take up all the remaining space that it has. Now for example, if I type 1fr and 2fr, here we can see this element has half the width of the other element. So in this way we can specify how many elements should be in a row. Now we're going to make it responsive, so we're going to use a function called repeat. So let's type repeat, and here we're going to use a keyword called autofill, and then we'll type comma min max, and here we will type 240 pixels comma 1fr. So here we are telling the grid to repeat this code right here, and we are setting a min max value over here. So it will have a minimum width of 240 pixels, and it can extend up to any value over here. So here we have this image gallery. First of all, let me just bring it to the center. So here I'll just type margin 0 for top and bottom and auto for left and right. So now here we can see we have 3 images in a row because it has space to accommodate 3 240 pixels value. And if I just remove this max width from here, we can see that there are more images in a row. Now all these images have at least 240 pixels of width each. So now if we decrease the width of the screen, we can see that if the width of the image is less than 240 pixels, then it moves to the next line over here. So in the same way, if we decrease the screen size again, after a certain point we can see that it goes to the next line. So in this way it will be completely responsive. So let me just go back and uncomment this. And we'll also add a gap between all these images. So let's type gap and we'll set it to 8 pixels. And now we can see we have a gap of 8 pixels between all these images. And let's also hide the titles that we have over here. So we will add the title in the lightbox, and we will hide all the titles from these images right here. So here we can see a little bit of the title is being displayed over here under this image. So let's go back over here and let's type image gallery container images title, and let's set the display to none. And now we can see that the titles are not being displayed. So that's it with the styling of these images. Let me just hide this lightbox for now. So just type image gallery container lightbox and display none. And here we can see this is how our image gallery looks right now. Now the last thing we need to have for these images is that when you hover over this, we need to have a pointer. So here for the image, let's target the image class. So I'll just type image container images image, and let's set the cursor to pointer. Right now when we hover over this, we have this pointer. Alright, that's it with the CSS of this image gallery. So here in the HTML we can see that we have already created a division with the class of lightbox. So here we can see the division, and in that we have this image division, and in that we have the image, and then we have the title, and we have these buttons over here. And then we also have this options division over here, and in that we have the download button and also the close button. So let's go to our style.css file, and here we have set the display of the lightbox to none in our previous video. So let's remove this line of code and let's start styling this lightbox. So here we can see we have the lightbox being displayed at the bottom of our design. And first of all, let's set the position of this lightbox to fixed, so that even if we scroll down or up, the lightbox will be at the same position. So let's type position and we'll set it to fixed, and we'll set the top position to 0 and the left position to 0. Now let's set the height and the width of the lightbox. So let's set the height to 100 viewport height, which is the 100% height of the screen, and also the width to 100%. Now let's set the height of this img tag to, let's say, 80 viewport height. So let's type image gallery container and lightbox, and in that we have the img tag. So here we'll just type height of 80 viewport height. Now this would look good on a large screen, but when we are on a small screen, we want to have a width of less than 100%. So let's go over here and let's add a media query. So let's type at media, and here we'll just type max width of 900 pixels. So if the screen size is less than 900 pixels, then we're going to add these styles. So let's type image gallery container lightbox img, and let's set the width to 90 viewport width. So it will have a width of 90% of the screen. And now we can see that the image has stretched a little bit. So for that we can just type object fit and we'll set it to cover. And now the image has the correct aspect ratio. Now let's go back to the styles of the lightbox over here, and let's add a background color. So let's type background, and here we'll just type RGBA, and we'll type 000, and we'll also have a little bit of opacity. So let's type 0.8, and now we can see that we have this background color over here. And let's also bring this image to the center. So for that, let's make this a display of flex. So let's type display of flex, and we'll set the align items to center and justify content to the center. And now the image is in the center. Now let's add some border radius to this img tag. So let's type border radius, and we'll set it to 10 pixels. Now we have these rounded corners, and we'll also add a border of 10 pixels solid white. Now let's style the title of the lightbox. So let's type image gallery lightbox title, and we want to set the title relative to this image right here. So for the image we have to set the position to relative. So let's type image gallery lightbox image, and let's set the position to relative. Right now we can set the position of the title to absolute. So let's type position absolute, and let's add a background color of white, and let's give it a padding of 24 pixels top and bottom and 32 pixels left and right, and we'll set the left position to 32 and the right position to 32 so that it will have this width over here. And we'll also set the bottom position to -6 pixels, and let's also set the font size to 16 pixels, and we'll set the font weight to bold, and we'll also add a border radius of 8 pixels. Now this position looks a little off because of these arrows over here. So when we style these, the position of the title will be fixed. So we basically want it to be a little higher. So now let's style the previous and the next buttons. So let's type image gallery container lightbox next btn, and image gallery container lightbox previous btn. So these are both the classes that we had given for the buttons. So here you can see previous button and the next button. So let's style both of these. So first of all we'll set the position to absolute, so it will be positioned relative to the image, and let's set the top position to 50%. Now you can see that it is starting from the middle. Now these buttons are not exactly in the center, it starts from the center, so we have to move it 50% of the element. So for that we have to type transform and translate y, and we have to set it to -50%, and now it is exactly in the center. Right now let's set the font size to 24 pixels, and we'll also give it a padding of 8 pixels and 16 pixels, and we'll set the background color to white, and we'll also add a border radius of 8 pixels, and let's also add a box shadow, and we'll set the values to 0, 4 pixels, 16 pixels, -4 pixels, RGBA 0, 0, 0 and 0.4, and we'll also set the cursor to pointer, so when we hover over this we have this pointer. Alright, now let's set the right and the left positions of these buttons. So let's type image gallery container lightbox next button, and we will set the right position to -20 pixels, and we can see that the button is at the right position. Now let's target the previous button. So let's type image gallery container lightbox and previous button, and let's set the left position to -20 pixels, and we can see that both the buttons have the correct positions. Now when we are on a small screen we will move these buttons inside a little bit. So inside this media query let's add some styles. So let's type image gallery container lightbox next btn, and we'll set the right position to -10 pixels, and for image gallery container lightbox previous button, and we'll set the left position to -20 pixels. Alright, now let's style the close and the download buttons. So here we can see we have a division with the class of options, and in that we have these two buttons. So for this button we have a class called close button. For this anchor tag also we will add a class. So let's add a class of download button, and let's target these classes. So let's go back to our style.css, and let's target the options first of all. So let's type image gallery container lightbox options, and we'll set the position to fixed, and we'll set it to top 32 pixels and right 32 pixels. We can see that the options are right here at the top right corner, and let's also add background color of white, and let's set the display to flex so that the elements will be one next to the other, and we'll also align items to the center so that they'll be centered vertically, and we'll also set the font size to 28 pixels, Now let's add a padding of 6 pixels top and bottom and 24 pixels left and right, and we'll also add a border radius of 20 pixels. Let's also add a box shadow, so let's type box shadow, and we'll set it to 0, 4 pixels, 16 pixels, negative 4 pixels, and RGBA 0, 0, 0 and 0.4. Right now let's have some space between these two icons. So let's target the close button, so I'll just type image gallery container lightbox and close button, and let's set a margin left of 20 pixels, and we'll also set the cursor to pointer, so when we hover over this we have this cursor. And now the last thing we need to do is change the color of this download button. So let's type image gallery container lightbox download btn, and let's set the color to black, and I think the size of the download button is more than this close button, so let's set a font size. So let's type font size and we'll set it to, let's say, 24 pixels, and that looks alright. And I feel that this previous button is not positioned correctly, so let's scroll down, and here we can see for the previous button we have set the left to negative 20 pixels. We have to set it to negative 10 pixels. Alright, that fixes the position, and that's basically it with the styling of the lightbox. So let me just maximize this window. So this is basically how it will look on a large screen, and let's open the responsive version. So let's click on inspect, let's click on this icon toggle device toolbar, and let's decrease the width of the screen, and we can see that it is completely responsive. So that's basically it with the design of the lightbox. The first thing we will do is we'll hide this lightbox and also these buttons at the beginning. So we want them to be displayed only when someone clicks on any of the images. So let's go back to our CSS, and if you scroll down here we can see this is the CSS for the lightbox. So what we'll do is we will move it above the screen. So we will set the top position to negative 100%. So let's set it to negative 100%. So now we can see that the lightbox is not being displayed, it is above the screen, and when we click on any of these images we want the lightbox to be back to the normal position. So let's create a class for that. So let's type image gallery container lightbox.active. So now when someone clicks on any of the images we will add the class active to the lightbox, and then we'll set the top position back to 0, and we'll also add a transition so that we'll have smooth animation. So let's type transition of all to 400 milliseconds. And here we can see the lightbox is not being displayed, but if we go back to our HTML and if we add the class active to the lightbox, so here I'll just add a class active, and now we can see that the lightbox is back. So whenever someone clicks on any of the images we will add the active class using JavaScript. So let's delete it for now, and we also want to hide these icons over here. So for that let's go back to our style.css, and it is a class called options. So here you can see lightbox options, and here we'll just set the display to none. So now we can see that the options are not being displayed, but when we have the active class for the lightbox we will set the options display to flex. So let's type image gallery container lightbox.active, and we'll type options, and here we'll set the display back to flex. Right, now let's go back to our index.html file, and let's add the active class over here in the lightbox. And here we can see the lightbox and these buttons are being displayed, but if we remove the active class the lightbox and the buttons are hidden. Now the next thing we will do is we will add an on-click event to these images over here. So let's go back and let's go to these images. Now here for each of these image divisions let's add an on-click attribute. So let's type on-click. Now here you can execute JavaScript code, or you can even call JavaScript functions. So let me just show you an example. I'll just type alert, and here I'll just type hi. So this is a line of JavaScript code where an alert will be displayed on the browser. So let's save it, and let's go back to our design, and let's click on this image, and we can see we have an alert called hi. So in this way we can execute JavaScript code using the on-click event attribute. Now here we'll call a JavaScript function. So let's name the function showImage. Now we haven't created this function yet, so we'll create it in our main.js file. Before that, let me check whether we have linked our JavaScript file. So here we can see we have linked our JavaScript file over here. So let's go to our main.js file. Now here we'll create a function called show image. So let's type const show image, and we'll create an arrow function over here. And I'll just type alert hi for testing. So here in the HTML, we are calling the show image function, and we have written the code over here in the main.js file. So let's go back to our design and let's click on this image, and here we can see the alert is being displayed. So everything is working all right. Right now in the show image function, we want to get the link of the image. So when we are calling the show image from this division right here, we want to get the link of this img. And when we are calling the show image from the second division, we want to get the image source of this image right here. So for that, we can pass an argument called this over here. Now what this does is that it will pass this object from here, and then we'll be able to access these images and these titles over here. So let me just copy this code from here, and I'll just paste it in all the other image divisions. So paste it over here, and here, and I think this is the last image. Right now that we have added the function call to all these image divisions, let's go back to our JavaScript and let's see whether we can access this title over here. So let's go back to our main.js file, and I'll just print the title to the console. So here for the argument, we'll just call it data. We can call it anything we want. So here I'll just type console.log, and I'll just type data.query selector, and it has a class of title. So I'll just type .title over here, and we want to get the text of the title. So I'll just type .inner text. And let's see whether the title is being displayed in our console. So let's go back to our design, and let's open the console, and let's click on the first image, and we can see that the title of the first image is being displayed. So if you go back to our HTML, this is the title, surfing the web. Let's click on the second image, and we want to get this title ready to start coding. So let's go back to our design and let's click on this second image. And here in our console, we can see that the title is being displayed. So everything is working all right. Now let's display the lightbox, and in that we'll display the title and the image. So for that, we need to reference some of the elements from this HTML. So we need to reference the division with the class of lightbox, and we also need to reference the img tag inside the lightbox and also the title. So let's reference these elements in our main.js file. So let's go back to main.js and let's create some constants. So I'll just type const lightbox, and we'll just type document.query selector, and here we'll just type image gallery container lightbox. And the next thing we need to reference is the image inside the lightbox. So let's type const lightbox image equals document.query selector and image gallery container lightbox img. The next thing we need to reference is the title. So let's type const lightbox title equals document.query selector image gallery container lightbox, and the title has a class of title. Right now let's complete the code inside the show image function. So let's remove this console.log from here, and first of all let's display the lightbox. So I'll just type lightbox.classList.add, and we will add the active class. So now the lightbox will be displayed. Now let's create a variable to hold the image. So let's type let, and we'll just name it image, and we'll just type equals data, which we are getting from this image division over here. So here we're going to type query selector, and we'll just type img. So this will get the image inside the data, and we also want the title. So let's type let title equals data.query selector, and we'll just type title, and let's add these to our lightbox. So we have already referenced the lightbox image and the titles over here, so let's use those over here. So I'll just type lightbox image.src, and we'll set it equal to image.src. So this is the image that we're getting from the HTML element, and the next thing to display is the title. So I will also add an if condition over here. So I'll just type if there is a title. So I'll just type title. If there's a title, then we will add the title. So I'll just type lightbox title dot inner text equals title, and here for the title we'll also type dot inner text so that we get the text inside the title. Now let's see whether it works. So let's go back to our design and let's click on this image right here, and we can see that the image is being displayed, and we also have the title. Let's refresh it and let's click on this image right here, and we can see that the image is being displayed. Now we need to add the link of the image to this download button so that when someone clicks on this download button, the image should be downloaded. So let's go back and let's reference the download button. So if you go back to our HTML, here we can see we have this button with the class of download btn. So let's reference that. Let's go back to our main.js file, and here we'll just type const download btn equals document dot query selector, and we'll just type image gallery container download btn. Now while we are here, let's also reference the close button, the next and the previous buttons. So for the next and the previous buttons, we have these classes previous btn and next btn, and for the close button we have this class called close btn. So let's reference all of these. So let's type const next btn equals document dot query selector, and let's type image gallery container next btn, and let's type const previous btn equals document dot query selector image gallery container previous btn, and let's also type const close btn equals document dot query selector image gallery container close btn. Alright, now let's set the href of the download button to the image source. So here I'll just type download btn dot href equals image dot src. Now we'll also add the code for the close button. So I'll just type close btn dot add event listener, and we will listen for the event click, and we'll just create an arrow function over here. And here we just need to remove the active class from the lightbox. So I just type lightbox dot class list dot remove active, and let's see whether it works. So let's click on this image, and we have the image being displayed, and let's click on the download button, and here we are taken to the link of the image, but we want it to be downloaded. So for that, let me just show you how to do that. And let's go to our HTML, and here for the anchor tag we also need to add one more attribute called download. Now it should work. So let's go back to our design, and let's click on the image, and let's click on the download button, and we can see that the image was downloaded. So let's open the image, and we can see that it is the correct image. Let's open another image. So let's click on the close button, and let's open this image right here, and let's click on download, and let's open the image, and we can see that the image is downloaded. So everything is working alright. Now the last thing we need to do is add the functionality for the next and the previous buttons. So let's go back to our source code. Now for the next and the previous buttons to work, we need to be able to know which image is currently displayed in the lightbox. So for that, we'll just create a new variable over here. So I'll just name it current image, and we'll just set it to blank at the beginning. Now what we'll do over here in the show image function is that we will set the current image to this data that we are getting from the HTML. So here let's type current image equals data. Alright, so now let's add the event listeners to the next and the previous buttons. So let's type next btn dot add event listener, and we'll type click, and we'll create an arrow function. Now when we click on the next button, we want to set the current image as the next image. So let's type current image equals current image, and in JavaScript you can access the next element by typing next element sibling. And the next thing we need to do is call the show image function. So let's type show image, and we'll pass the current image. And while doing all of this, we also have to check whether it is the last image. So for that, we'll add an if condition over here. So let's type if current image dot next element sibling. Now this will return true if there is a next element. So let's wrap everything inside this if condition. Now let's copy this and paste it down here, and we will add the code for the previous button over here. So I'll just rename this to previous, and here instead of next element sibling we need to type previous element sibling, and we'll do the same over here as well. So that's it with the next and the previous button. So let's go back to our design, and let's see whether everything is working alright. So let's click on the image, and everything is working alright. We also have checked the download button, and even the close button is working alright. Let's click on the next and the previous buttons, and we can see that everything is working alright. Now here we are on the last image, so when we click on the next button, nothing happens. Let's click on the previous button and everything is working alright. So that's basically how you create an image gallery from scratch using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Now this is my Blogger website where we're going to add the image gallery. So let's go to the dashboard and let's create a new post, and in that we will add the image gallery. So let's click on new post and I'll just give it a title of image gallery. And the next thing you have to do is go into the HTML view. So by default it will be in the compose view, so you have to click on this button and go to the HTML view. And now here we can copy the HTML. So let's go to the source code. I will leave the link of the source code in the description of this video. So let's go ahead and copy the HTML. So let's copy everything from this h2 till the end of this division right here. And let's copy and paste it in our Blogger post. Alright, now the next thing we will do is copy the JavaScript. So let's create a script tag over here. So just type script and close the tag over here. And let's go back to our source code and let's go to the JavaScript file. And let's copy all these JavaScripts from here and we'll just paste it over here inside the script tag. Alright, now the next thing we need to do is replace the link of the images. So here we can see we have this image source as images/1.jpg. Now in our Blogger website we don't have a folder called images, so we have to first of all upload the image over here in the Blogger post, and then we have to get the link of the image and paste it over here. So let's upload our images in our Blogger post. So I'll just make some space over here and we'll just click on this button called insert image and upload from computer, and let's click on choose files. So here's my project. I'll just go to the images folder and I'll just select all the images and let's click on open. Right, all the images have been uploaded, so let's select all the images and click on select, and we'll just select the original size and let's click on OK. And here we can see all the images have been inserted. So let's copy the link of the first image. So this is the link of the first image, so let's copy this. So let's scroll down and here we can see this is the source of the first image. So let's delete this and paste the link over here, and I'll just quickly do the same with all the other images. Alright, I have just copied all the links of the images, and here for the lightbox we also have this source, so I'll just delete this from here. Alright, that's it with the post. So let's go ahead and delete all these images from here. Now let's go ahead and publish it and confirm. Now the last thing we need to do is add the CSS. So let's go to theme and let's click on this arrow and click on edit HTML, and let's scroll down and find the CSS of the theme. So this is all the CSS. Let's go to the end of the CSS. So here we can see this is where the CSS ends. So let's go ahead and make some space over here, and I'll just add a comment, image gallery, and let's paste the CSS over here. So let's go back to our source code and let's go to style.css, and here we can see we have added some styles for the h2 as well, but in our theme we already have some h2, so it will clash with the styles that we had. So we will add a class over here for the h2 so that it will target only the h2 of the image gallery. But for now let's copy all of this and let's paste it over here, and let's scroll up and go to the h2 and we'll just add a class. So here I'll just type image gallery title. Right, now let's save this theme and let's go back, and we also need to add the class to our h2. So let's go back to our post, and here for the h2 we'll just add a class and we'll just give it a class of image gallery title, and let's update it. Alright, now let's go ahead and see how it looks. So let's click on this view post button, and here we can see this is how our image gallery looks. So let's go ahead and click on any of these images, and the lightbox is being displayed. But we have an issue where the buttons are not being displayed. So that's because we had added font awesome in our source code. So we have to copy the CDN of font awesome. So here we can see we have used the icons of font awesome. So let's scroll to the top. This is the link of font awesome. So let's copy this and let's go back to our theme and let's go back to edit HTML, and here in the head section we'll just add the font awesome link. So I'll just paste it over here and let's click on save. Now let's go back to our page and let's refresh this page, and let's click on one of these images, and we can see that everything is looking alright. we have different colors for these buttons over here, but you can go ahead and change that in the CSS. You can just target these buttons and set the color to black and it'll be alright. Or let me just show it to you. So let's go back to our theme and let's click on edit HTML and let's go to our CSS, and here we can see we have the selector for the next and the previous buttons. So let's set the color to black, or let's just add 000. We also want to change the color of the close button, so here we'll just type color 000 and let's save it. Now let's go back to our post and let's refresh it, and now we can see that everything works alright. So that's basically how you add a responsive image gallery to your Blogger website. Now there's one more issue with a Blogger website, that we cannot set an image for download. So here we can see if I click on this download button, it will take us to this page right here, and then we have to go ahead and right click and click on save image as and save the image. So for Blogger website we have to upload the image to Google Drive, and then we can add the download functionality directly. Now this was the issue with the Blogger image gallery. When we clicked on the download button, we were taken to this page right here, and we had to right click over here and click on save image, and then the image would be saved. Now when we designed this image gallery from scratch in my previous videos, we can see that we had the ability to download the image. So this is the image gallery that we designed in the beginning. So if I click on this image and if I click on the download button, we can see that the image is downloaded over here without going to a new window. So we want to add this functionality to our Blogger website. So we don't want to go to a new page, we want to download the image directly. Now if you're using any other hosting service, you can just upload the files of our project into the server, and the image gallery will work alright, and the download will also work alright. But that is not the case with the Blogger website, so we have to take a different approach for the Blogger website. So in this video I'll show you how to add the download functionality to your image gallery in a Blogger website. So let's get started. Now if you go to the post of our image gallery, so let's go back to the Blogger dashboard and let's go to this post. And here we can see we have this image link over here, and it is from the blogspot.com website. So we had inserted the image in our post by clicking on this insert button, and then we added the link over here. Now what we need to do for the download is that we need to upload the images to our Google Drive, and then we have to get the link of Google Drive and add it over here. So you can just go over here to drive.google.com and you will be taken to this page. Now let's go ahead and upload our images to Google Drive. So let's click on new and let's click on file upload, and here we can see all the images in our project. So I'll just select all of these and I'll just click on open, and we can see all the images have been uploaded to Google Drive. Now the next thing we have to do is copy the link of these images. So let's right click over here on the first image and let's click on get link. And here we can see this is the link of our image, and the first thing you have to do is change restricted to public. So you have to click on this button called anyone with the link. So now anyone can access your image. If you had set it to restricted, then only if someone is logged into their Google account they'll be able to see the image, but now everyone can see the image. So let's copy the link and let's go back to our post and let's add it over here. Now the next thing you have to do is change the format of this link. So we have to keep the ID and change some other things in the URL. So let's remove all of this. This right here is the ID of our image. So let's remove everything else. So I'll just delete all of this and let's keep drive.google.com, and then you have to type UC export equals download, and then you have to type &ID equals, and then we have the ID of the image. So now that we have converted the Google Drive link, the image will be displayed. So let's update and let's see whether the first image is being displayed. So let's go back and let's click on view, and we can see that the first image is being displayed, and let's click on the image and let's click on download, and we can see that the image is directly being downloaded to our system. So that's how you add download functionality to the images in your Blogger website. Now we can just do the same with all the other images. So let's go back to our image gallery and let's delete this link from here for the second image, and let's go to our Google Drive and let's right click over the second image and let's click on get link, and we'll just change restricted to anyone with the link, and we have to just copy the ID. So I'll just copy this ID from here. So this is the ID, so I'll just copy it, and Let's go back over here and paste it over here. And I'll just quickly copy and paste the IDs of all the images. Right, so I have copied and pasted all the IDs of the images. Now let's copy this URL from here. So I'll just copy it till ID equals, and I'll just paste it over here in front of the ID. I'll do the same with all the other images. Right, now let's go ahead and click on update, and let's go back and let's refresh this page. And now we can see all the images are being displayed, and let's click on one of these images and let's click on download. And we can see that the image has been downloaded, so let's click on the image, and it is indeed the correct image. Let's click on the next button and let's download another image. So let's download this image right here, and let's open it, and we can see that the image is downloaded correctly. So that's how you add download functionality to your Blogger website. And I will also leave the link of the source code, so you can just copy and paste the code of the image gallery and just go ahead and change the titles, the images, and all of those. So that's basically it for this video. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments below, and if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.